Let's talk about the revised social studies curriculum document, what has been added, and why. The front matter of this document includes helpful information for all educators. Let's take a look. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action, number 62 and number 63, recognize the need for and value of infusing First Nations, Métis, and Inuit perspectives and teachings into every education system across Canada. On page 11 of the revised social studies curriculum, we see one such revision. The Citizenship Education Framework now includes the addition of 6 important concepts: self-determination, security, reconciliation, reciprocity, truth, and relationships. This model represents how, as educators, we evolve as we learn more. This framework also appears on pages 201 and 202 in tabular form, which may be helpful to support your planning. Page 11 now includes this important statement. Students develop their understanding of a variety of Indigenous communities in what would eventually become Canada, both before and after European contact. Students also explore the role that colonialism has played in Canada and the impact it has had on various communities and individuals. Pause this presentation now and turn and talk to a colleague about this. Why is the inclusion of this statement important? On pages 14 and 15, there is a clear and succinct explanation for how and why the 2018 Social Studies document revision came about. The present revision of the Social Studies and History curriculum was developed in collaboration with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit educators, community members, and organizations in response to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action numbers 62 and 63. The revision strengthens learning connected with Indigenous perspectives, cultures, histories, and contemporary realities, including those related to the residential school system and treaties. Continuing on pages 14 and 15, we read a statement to support the aims of the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action. It is essential that learning activities and materials used to support Indigenous education are authentic and accurate and do not perpetuate culturally and historically inaccurate ideas and understandings. It is important for educators and schools to select resources that portray the uniqueness of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit histories, perspectives, and worldviews authentically and respectfully. Pause this presentation now and consider, do the learning activities and materials currently in use in your school reflect this essential requirement for accuracy, authenticity, and how do you know? It is important to create a learning environment that is respectful and that makes students feel safe and comfortable, not only physically, socially, and emotionally, but also in terms of their cultural heritage. A culturally safe learning environment is one in which students feel comfortable about expressing their ideas, opinions, and needs, and about responding authentically to topics that may be culturally sensitive. To support this need for accuracy and authenticity, does the learning environment in your school allow for all students to feel culturally safe? Our work with cultural safety must be grounded in advanced planning on the part of educators. Thus, teachers should be aware that some students may experience emotional reactions when learning about issues that have affected their own lives, their family, and/or their community, such as the legacy of the residential school system. Before addressing such topics in the classroom, teachers need to consider how to prepare and debrief students, and they need to ensure that resources are available to support students both inside and outside the classroom. Have you and your colleagues considered how to prepare and debrief students? and how to ensure that resources are available to support students both inside and outside the classroom. Our social studies curriculum is a curriculum of action. A brief examination of the inquiry process graphic on page 24 shows us the broad range of active learning that rich inquiry involves. In inquiry, we analyze, interpret, explore, describe, demonstrate, construct, compare, formulate, communicate, and evaluate. Pause this presentation now and review the various aspects of the inquiry process as shown in this graphic. What do you notice, and what do you wonder? All the actions that support rich inquiry are underpinned by critical thinking. When students believe that these subjects simply represent a body of preordained knowledge about certain topics, they may question the relevance of their studies or may not approach their investigations with an open and inquiring mind. Students must be given opportunities to see that inquiry is not just about finding what others have found, and that they can use the inquiry process not only to uncover knowledge, but also to construct understandings and develop their own positions on issues. Learning should be seen as a process in which students monitor and reflect on the development of their knowledge, understandings, and skills. How is the statement from page 37 reflected in the day-to-day social studies work in which your students are engaged? To ensure we provide authentic, accurate, and respectful lessons and activities in our classrooms, it is important to remember the need for and benefit of bringing Indigenous expertise into your schools. Teachers can provide opportunities for elders, Métis senators, knowledge keepers, knowledge holders, residential school survivors, and intergenerational survivors, and Indigenous experts in fields such as history, the environment, culture, governance, and law to offer their experience, skills, knowledge, and wisdom to benefit all students. In our busy day-to-day lives as educators, we may forget the supports that are not only helpful but vital to bringing authentic, accurate, and respectful lessons and activities into our schools. Remember, the front matter of the 2018 revised Social Studies curriculum document is full of rich information that will support your efforts to meet the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action number 62 and 63. Thank you.